Let's be real for a second. Your sin, it's not just bad. It's not just a slip up, not a moment of weakness, not I'm only human. It's a monster you've been feeding. See, we've been trained to talk about sin like it's some harmless habit. Oh, I'm struggling with it. Now you're hosting it. You've invited it in, offered it the couch, and now it's got a key to your house. And here's the twisting. It's not just making your life worse. It's mutating who you are. Sin isn't just what you do. It's who you're becoming. It rewires you, turns a kind heart cold, turns a dreamer into a cynic, turns confidence into ego. And worst part, you don't even notice it. You think you're still in control, still calling the shots, still the good guy with a few flaws. But look around. Look at the damage. Look at the trust that's gone. The peace you used to have. The way you flinch when someone brings up truth. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. But let me ask you something. If it's not that bad, why are you hiding it so hard? Why are you losing sleep? Why can't you look yourself in the mirror without distraction? Sin doesn't just happen. It grows. It breeds in silence. It thrives in secrecy. And when it matures, it doesn't just mess up your life. It replaces it. See, sin never walks in the front door saying, hey, I'm here to ruin everything you love. No, it walks in saying, just this once, just one more time. You deserve this. It's not hurting anyone. And the next thing you know, you're defending the very thing that's killing you. Let's stop sugarcoating this. Your sin, it's not just bad. It's not just a flaw or a thing you're working on. It's worse than you think. And until you face it with both fists up, that'll keep stripping you of everything that ever made you whole. You don't need to manage it. You don't need to live with it. You need to kill it before it kills you. You're not just making mistakes. You're not just slipping up now and then like some accidental detour on a perfect path. No, what you're doing is way deeper, way darker. You're sabotaging your own soul, and you're doing it in a way that looks so casual, so familiar, you don't even realize it anymore. Let's kill the soft language. Let's stop calling it weakness or struggle like you're some innocent victim who accidentally tripped. You didn't trip, you just... Again and again. Sin isn't just some random pop that shows up on your life screen. You clicked on it. You bookmarked it. You've gone back to it more times than you want to admit. And the worst part, you've started to normalize it. You dress it up in words like coping, stress relief, or just how I am. But deep down, if you're being honest, you know this thing you keep going back to. It's eating you alive. See, sin is sneaky. It doesn't just come in with flames and chaos. It creeps in through tiny decisions, quiet compromises, late-night justifications. You lie to yourself just enough to silence the warning signs. And in doing that, you're not just making bad choices. You're chiseling away at your identity. You're building a version of yourself that's okay with the darkness. That's fine with pretending. That's numb to conviction. You're not just doing wrong. You're becoming wrong. You ever feel that low-grade guilt humming under everything you do? That's not overthinking. That's your soul trying to yell through the static. You know you're not aligned. You know this isn't who you're supposed to be. But instead of confronting it, you keep burying it. More distraction, more noise, more fake peace. You're keeping yourself busy, entertained,
Yes.
medicated, just so you don't have to feel the emptiness you've built inside. Let's be real, sin doesn't just ruin your day. It rewrites your direction. It keeps you from peace, from clarity, from purpose, from God. Every time you feed it, it feeds on you. It feeds on your honesty, your integrity, your courage. It makes you smaller. It trains you to hide. It makes your silence feel safer than confession. And it starts turning you into a person you don't even recognize anymore. But here's the twist. All of that doesn't happen in one big explosion. It's slow. That's what makes it so deadly. You tell yourself it's just one time, but it's never just one time. You're digging a hole and calling it a hammock. You're not just messing up, you're quietly setting fire to everything inside you that could have been whole, strong, free. So yeah, your sin isn't just bad, it's worse than you think. Because while you're brushing it off like a bad habit, it's already building a prison around your soul, and you're handing it the key. Sin never stays small. That's one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves, that we've got it under control, that it's just a little thing. But sin doesn't play fair. It doesn't stay in the corner where you try to keep it. It spreads quietly, aggressively, like poison in your bloodstream, like mold in the walls. You don't see the full damage right away, but that doesn't mean it's not already at work. What starts as just once becomes a pattern. What you said you'd never do again becomes routine, and then the worst part happens. You stop even calling it sin. You start renaming it. You start building your life around it. The things that used to make your heart sting with guilt, they stop bothering you, because now that poison has numbed the nerves, and while you're walking around thinking you're fine, everything inside you is rotting. It doesn't matter how small you think it is. A little lie, a bit of bitterness, a secret habit, a hidden motive. Sin is not static. It's not content to sit still. It doesn't want a seat at your table. It wants to own the house. Every time you give it an inch, it takes the whole street. It grows, it multiplies, it mutates. And the longer you let it sit, the more powerful it becomes. And don't think you can isolate it. That's another lie, that you can keep your sin in its own little room, like it won't touch the rest of your life. That's not how this works. Sin doesn't stay in its lane. It bleeds into your thoughts, your relationships, your decisions, into how you see yourself, how you treat others, how you talk to God. It changes the atmosphere around you. You think you're compartmentalizing, but actually you're contaminating everything. Let's say you've got a glass of clean water. You drop in a single drop of bleach. Are you going to drink it? No. Why? It's just a small drop, right? But it'll ruin the whole thing. That's how sin works. It may start tiny, but it infects the whole system. And it does it silently. You might not even notice until something breaks. And by then, you're standing in the wreckage, wondering how it all got this bad. Sin spreads through silence. It grows when you ignore it. The more you avoid confronting it, the deeper it digs in. It gets comfortable. It makes you comfortable. And that's the danger. You don't even realize you're sick. You start calling poison peace. You start defending the very thing that's destroying you. That's not just bad. That's deadly. So no, your sin won't stay small. It never stays small. The longer you wait to face it, the bigger it becomes, and the harder it is to pull out. Don't wait until you're choking on the very thing you thought you could manage. Kill it before it multiplies. Sin doesn't just hurt you. It infects everyone around you. That's the part we love to ignore. We tell ourselves, it's my struggle, my personal issue. It's not affecting anybody else. But that's a lie. A bold, dangerous lie. Sin is never private, never harmless. It's not some internal inconvenience that only you deal with. It's a ripple effect, a toxic leak. You may be holding the match, but you're burning down everyone close to you. You think your anger just stays in your head? No. It leaks into your tone, your words, the way you treat people who had nothing to do with what set you off. You think your pride just hurts you? No. It keeps you from listening, keeps you from apologizing, keeps you from growing, and it turns every relationship into a power struggle. You think your lust, your secret habits, your bitterness, your gossip, your envy, you think those are private. They're not. They're shaping the atmosphere you carry. They're changing how you show up. They're bleeding into every conversation, every silence, every decision. Look at the people closest to you. Your friends, your partner, your kids, your family. They feel the weight of your sin, whether you admit it or not. Your emotional distance, your short temper, your hidden guilt, your fake smiles. It all affects them. You may not talk about it, but they feel it. You may not explain it, but they know something's off. That's what sin does. It doesn't just mess with your own heart. It twists the lives around you too. And let's talk about legacy. Some of the pain you're walking around with, it didn't even start with you. It was passed down. Someone else's unchecked sin spilled into your story. A father who never dealt with his pride. A mother who never healed her hurt. A leader who let ego rule. And now here you are dealing with the residue of their decisions. You think your sin's only hurting you. It might not be your kids that feel it. It might be your grandkids, your friends, the next person who looks up to you and doesn't even realize they're learning your brokenness by example. Sin is like smoke. Even if the fire's in one room, the whole house starts to smell. You can't keep it contained. It drifts, it sticks, it marks everything. And when you pretend it's just your issue, you're refusing to take responsibility for the people God placed around you, people who are catching the fallout of the choices you keep justifying. That's why this matters. That's why dealing with your sin isn't about personal peace. It's about honor, about being someone who doesn't poison the room when they walk in. Someone who doesn't leave a trail of silent damage behind them. If you think sin is a private matter, look again. The people you love are already feeling the impact. You're not managing your sin. It's managing you. Even Krins have, that's the brutal truth. You might think you've got it under control. You might believe you're the one calling the shots, deciding when to stop, when to give in, when to back off. But the longer you live in that mindset, the more blind you become to the fact that sin already has the leash around your neck. It's not a habit you keep around. It's a master you serve. Sin always starts with the illusion of control. It whispers, "You're stronger than this. You can stop anytime. You're just doing this to blow off steam." But over time, those moments of weakness become routines. The thing you used to run from becomes the thing you run to. And before you know it, you're no longer making choices. You're reacting. You're stuck in a cycle chasing satisfaction but never getting it. And all the while, it's not you in control anymore. It's that sin, that craving, that voice. It's the pattern that now owns you. You notice it when you try to stop, and you can't. You notice it when you say, "I'll quit after this one last time," but that time comes and goes and nothing changes. You've handed the wheel over, and you're sitting in the passenger seat trying to convince yourself you're still driving. But deep down, you know you're not. Sin doesn't offer you freedom. It offers you chains dressed up like choices. Let's stop pretending you're managing anything. Look at your thoughts. How many of them are clean? How often do you catch yourself spiraling, justifying, excusing, covering up? Look at your time. How many hours have you lost chasing things that leave you feeling emptier than before? Look at your strength. How often do you feel exhausted just from trying to act normal? Hiding the weight you're carrying, that's not freedom. That's captivity. And it's not just about outward behavior. You can dress it up, smile through it, lead others, even succeed, and still be completely owned inside. Some of the most put together people you see are slaves to a private sin they think they're managing. But it's managing them. It's deciding how they think, how they feel, how close they can get to people, how honest they can be. It's running their life from behind the curtain. You don't tame sin. You don't negotiate with it. You don't schedule it. If it's still in your life, still calling your name, still dragging you back, it's not you're managing. It's something that owns you. And until you face it like that with the seriousness it deserves, you're going to keep living under the illusion that you're free. Wake up. You're not in control. Not yet. But the good news, you can be. Once you stop pretending, once you start fighting, you stop treating sin like a bad habit and start treating it like a master you need to overthrow. What you justify today will destroy you tomorrow. That's not a warning. That's a guarantee. The moment you start explaining away your sin instead of confronting it, you're giving it permission to grow roots. Every excuse you make is fertilizer for destruction. I'm just stressed. It's not that serious. At least I'm not doing what they're doing. Sound familiar. That's the language of self-deception, and it's deadly. The problem with justifying sin is that it feels smart in the moment. It feels reasonable, logical, almost noble. You convince yourself you're being patient with yourself, that you're showing grace, that you're just trying to survive. And yeah, grace is real, but don't confuse grace with license. Don't call compromise coping. That's how sin tricks you. It makes you the defense attorney for your own destruction. You argue for the very thing that's slowly choking out your peace, your purpose, your character. And here's the scary part. The more you justify it, the more normal it becomes. The first time you did it, you felt guilty. The second time, you felt a little less. The third time, it started feeling familiar. And now it's just part of your rhythm. You've convinced yourself it belongs in your life, that it's not hurting anything. But it is. It's dulling your discernment. It's weakening your will. It's warping your identity. And if you don't put a stop to it, it'll grow into something that doesn't just hurt. It consumes. Think about it like this fire looks small when it starts. A single spark, a little flame. It might even look beautiful. But ignore it long enough, justify it long enough, and that fire will take down everything you built. That's what sin does. You keep it around because it doesn't look like a threat, but it doesn't stay small. And once it spreads, once it lights up everything in your life, your relationships, your future, your soul, it's too late to act shocked. You can't justify your way to freedom. That voice inside that says, it's not that deep, or you'll deal with it later. It's the same voice that'll be silent when it all falls apart. It won't be there when the consequences hit. It won't be there when trust is lost. When opportunities vanish, when the people who loved you most start to distance themselves. It'll be you, standing in the wreckage of the life you slowly talked yourself into ruining. The truth is simple. What you defend today will be your downfall tomorrow. You can dress it up, water it down, rename it, minimize it, but sin doesn't care what you call it. It just cares that you keep it alive. And the more reasons you create to keep it alive, the more power it has to take you out. So stop explaining. Stop excusing. If it's sin, call it what it is. And kill it now, before it burns down everything you think you're strong enough to protect. Sin doesn't end with consequences. It ends with you being someone else entirely. That's the real cost. It's not just about what you lose. It's about who you become. Every time you give in to sin, it changes something inside you. It doesn't just leave a mark. It rewrites parts of your character. And if you keep walking that road long enough, one day you'll look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. You don't wake up one day and say, I want to be cold-hearted, numb, angry, fake, selfish. No one sets that as a goal. But that's where sin leads step by step, slowly, subtly. It starts by bending your values. Then it dulls your convictions. And finally, it replaces your identity with a version of you that's hollow, disconnected from the purpose you were made for. And the scariest part, you might not even notice it happening. You used to feel things deeply. Now you're numb. You used to crave truth. Now you avoid it. You used to have passion, vision, hunger for more. Now you settle for less and call it contentment. That's not peace. That's defeat. That's the slow erosion of your soul, brought on by compromises you kept making because they felt easier than facing the truth. And now you're surviving, drifting, settling into an identity that was never meant to be yours. See, sin is a thief. It doesn't just steal moments. It steals you. It takes your authenticity and gives you performance. It takes your compassion and gives you bitterness. It takes your boldness and gives you insecurity. Little by little, it chips away at the real you and replaces it with a version built on shame, secrets, and self-deception. And the longer you let it stay, the more it builds a home inside you. You might still smile, still function, still go to work, hang with friends, even go to church. But deep down, you know something's off. You feel the gap. You know you're not fully you. That's not something you fix by pretending. That's not something you recover from by ignoring it. That kind of transformation, the one where sin has reshaped your identity, needs a total reset. It needs confrontation, honesty, brokenness, humility. It needs war. Because if you don't fight back, that false identity will become permanent. And one day, people will describe you with words that don't match the real you. Distant, bitter, fake, hard. But those words didn't come out of nowhere. They grew out of decisions. Decisions to let sin stay longer than it should have. To protect it instead of kill it. To tolerate it instead of expose it. So don't just fear the consequences. Fear the transformation. Fear becoming someone you were never created to be, because sin won't stop at damaging your life. It will replace it. And if you don't wake up now, you won't even know what you lost until it's too late. And that's the bottom line. This ain't just about guilt. It's not about rules. It's not about trying to be some plastic version of yourself. This is about war. This is about waking up to the fact that sin has been playing you, owning you, changing you, and you've been letting it, but not anymore. Because once you see it for what it really is, not just a bad decision, but a slow death, you don't walk away casual. You walk away ready to burn the bridges, flip the tables, and clean house. For real. No more justifying it. No more managing it. No more acting like it's not that serious. It is that serious. It's serious enough to ruin your soul, your relationships, your calling, your legacy. But the second you stop pretending, the second you stop defending the thing that's been killing you, that's the second you take your life back. So yeah, your sin isn't just bad. It's worse than you think. But the good news, God's grace is stronger than you think. Now stand up, face it, kill it, and don't look back.